all the time in Carroll County. I'm just saying. It's a very, very unlucky place to live. They dropped the charges because it was accidental. You don't accidentally run over somebody and back up and try to do it again. Let's start from the beginning as investigative reporters, right? So you would ask the questions who, what, where, when, and why. Should be easy, right? Of course it is. Yes, I know, you're innocent until proven guilty, but what good does that do you if you are not alive?
Y'all. I'm sorry. I'm snorting now. I did not realize I hit the go live button. I thought I was queuing up stuff, and I'm just back here vaping, drinking coffee, looking at my phone because I'm uploading something else. And then I was listening to the music, fluffing my hair. I cracked myself up. Y'all just should be glad that I wasn't like checking for boogers or something. Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, now you know what I do while I'm waiting for the countdown, because I try to get here a few minutes early so I can start. This is going on the blooper reel. Whew, okay, let's start again. Let's clear the stage. Hello, my silky friends. I'm lost. Okay, I can't keep it together. Hello, Pam Frenchman. We had a nice little conversation before this even started. And, yeah, so, all right, we do have a lot of serious things tonight, to talk about. Man, hello, Mythical. How are you doing? Hello, Buckeye. Let me get down here. Hello, Buckeye from Houston. Whoop, whoop. I have been to the Houston airport. That's as far into Houston as I've been. And that was a long time ago. long time ago. Hello. Where's Samantha? Hello, Samantha. No money shots. Well, thank God. Thank God I wasn't doing the money shots. If y'all don't know about that, that was a members only that will stay. Members only. One of my first ones. Not my very first one, but it was close in there. I was trying to show a tattoo on my ankle, and yeah. Thank goodness it was just ladies in there that night. Okay. Yeah, so I didn't do any money shots. No looking up the nose shots. I don't know what I was doing. I'll have to go back and watch it. I've been trying to upload. I don't know what the quality of this live is going to be, honestly. I hope y'all are having a sunny day somewhere, because it has been overcast and rainy and dreary and depressing all day long. So, yeah, hello, Melanie Lynn. Yeah, y'all know, I sit here and I fluff because, it kind of, it gets, especially in weather like this. Oh, it's the same in Georgia? Dang. Dang, mythical. Uh, yeah, it's been a crappy day. And just so you know, you don't have to go watch it. My phone was blowing up all through the day, really, about Delphi and some stuff and the wars. And so I did do a short video on the Delphi dumpster fire. It's only like 5 minutes long. I'm gonna do some stuff in Delphi probably tomorrow night, and probably do a members only, and I'll probably shoot a video for my other channel. Hello, Yoli, how are you? Good to see ya. Yeah. So, you know what I always think of when I think of you, Yoli? I think about the body parts. Yeah, you have a wrench, Yoli. Yes, you do. Hey, I threw a lot of wrenches at people the night that only I knew that Prof and Meow were both coming on panel with me, and I felt like if I was going to get trolled, that was going to be the night. So I threw wrenches at a lot of people who've been with me for a while. You know, if you've been here with me, then you know, I feel like y'all know I don't really have much trouble with trolls, and honestly, I watch this thing like a hawk. So that's what I'm doing. When you see my eyes over here, that's what I'm looking at. I'm watching you. But yeah, a lot of bad things going on over on the Delphi front, and that is not going to be what my live is about. I don't do drama. I don't do drama. Hello, Freckle Joy. How are you? Good to see you. I don't engage. I have my opinions, but I don't engage. But I am worried. I'm worried about those folks. Sometimes I'm worried about myself, but it is what it is. Tonight we're going to be talking about Mica Miller. I've had a crap week at work, and I just could not bring myself to do a live. I was just beyond exhausted, and mentally and physically. So, yeah, you are right, Freckle Joy. That's what that short video I uploaded is about. That's what I'm afraid of. For a lot of people, and you know what? I don't agree. Obviously, a lot of us in the Delphi community are on different sides of our opinions. But I can honestly say this. I don't have a war going on with anybody, nor do I intend to. I have my opinions. I do my own research. I don't watch a lot of other creators, even though there's some great ones. There's only one Delphi creator that I watch every single video they put out. Yes, Yoli, it is that bad in Delphi. But I don't have any beef. I don't agree with everybody, and whatever. But I don't hate anybody. Hello, Shelly. How are you doing? I didn't know what time to do a live tonight, because I'll just tell you what, it's Saturday in the summer. People are going places, except me. I was just too tired. I was just like, no, I'm staying home tonight. What? The latest? Oh, hold on. Now my computer's decided to do something crazy. Oh, yeah, you've got a Rona light. Yeah, I think we have that going around too. You don't have a side? There are people I don't like because they're dumb. Yeah. Well, the problem with some of the people involved is they could be involved. I'll just leave it at that. So, they're very, very upset about people saying things. So there you go. But tonight is about Mica. I'm going to tell you something. I've gotten y'all know Y'all know, and I don't know if you saw the community page, but I'm going to put this up here again, and I'll give you a disclaimer. At the end of everything that we're going to go through, there's documents. Man, what Alison Miller, she's Williams again now, what Alison had to say is crazy. Crazy. And so at the end, though, I found this really good, I think it's like 14, 15 minutes long, this TikToker had to say about, she has a word for JP. And I mean, it's like a Christian thing. So I'm saving it for the end if you don't want to watch it. I love it. I have a lot to say about that. But did y'all see? I did watch Justin on TikTok. Did y'all see that he was doing a live with Robbie Harvey and JP pops up in there? And then he did an interview with Mica's sisters later on. I haven't finished watching that one. But did any of y'all, I just want to know, did any of y'all see that one with JP? Because I want to know, before I say anything, I want to know what your thoughts were on that. Hello, Teresa. I'll give you a second to see if you have. Yeah, I do too, Mythical. I wish, where was that comment? Yeah, I wish people would have come forward sooner. But you know, I kind of understand why. And here's the thing, I think a lot of people, I've seen a lot of bad stuff in churches because I've been in church my whole life. Seen a lot of bad stuff. And I think we tend to just think, okay, well, that's gossip. I'm not going to spread it. I'm just going to leave. I'm just going to do whatever. That's our take on it. You know, God wouldn't want me to, but I'm not sure that I believe that now. You know, I think we were always trying to do the Christian thing and just not talk and just, you know, yeet. But, I think this case and maybe some others may change our minds. I know it has definitely made me think about things that I should have said. You know, nothing turned out like this, okay? But I think now I wonder, was I at fault for not saying what I knew? You're right, Mythical. That's what's turning people away. And I'm gonna tell you something. I don't blame them. I do not blame them. I mean, they don't know. If you don't know God, or you know Him in a religious way, this would very, very much turn you off for sure. All right, I'm gonna go to. Oh, that ain't what I want to go to. It is. I just don't want it that way. All right. Some of this comes from Fitz News. Y'all, and I know you can get so many articles free and then you have to subscribe. Man, Fitz News does a great job. Shout out to them for all the stuff that they're doing. So I'm going to go over just a little bit of this, but there's a certain part of this article that I really want to bring up. I agree, 100% Mythical. All right, so this is talking about, these things came from the FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, and this is where a lot of these things, and you'll see some things have been redacted, for which I'm glad, because it lists the children's names and things like that, things that we don't need to see. But this is just introducing the case, so I'm not going to stop because there's so much to look at tonight. I don't want to bog it down. All right, on November 28th, 2022, officers HC, that's Horry County, PD officers responded to a call of a female locked in the bathroom of the Waccamaw Mental Health Facility in Myrtle Beach. Officers arrived on the scene to find Mica Miller sitting in the passenger seat of a Ram truck in the parking lot with John Paul Miller, who was trying to take her from the scene, according to the report. John Paul was interrupting Mica and would not allow her to speak to officers. Now, here's the thing. I don't understand the officers, all right? Because if I was one of the officers, I would have said, sir, you need to be quiet. Zip it. I don't think I wouldn't. But the names are, and again, that makes you wonder. The fact that they didn't stop that in the very beginning. I mean, you can do it respectfully. You don't have to be mean about it, but you can make it known that you want someone else to talk. It makes me wonder if they knew JP or what kind of influence JP has to, that they let that continue. The names are redacted from the reports. However, our FOIA request was for records pertaining to John Paul Miller, and he is the only male referenced in this report. The report makes it clear that the female seeking mental health treatment was his wife, Mica Miller. Workers at Waccamaw told police Mica was extremely weak and passed out twice while in the building. What? They were concerned that she was under the influence. Okay, so she can't stand up, like she's in bad shape. Well, yeah, that's the first thing you'd think. An unnamed female told police she and Mica went to the facility to get mental health help for Mica. John Paul pulled up and reportedly would not allow Mica to get the help she needed, per the report. The woman told police, now, see, if you saw that interview with him the other night, he was denying. He's the king of denial, right? He was denying everything, but here it is on the police report, because he was referencing that. Well, there it is, according to this FOIA request. The woman told police John Paul had been mentally abusing Mica for an extended period of time by not allowing her to sleep, eat, or connect with her family. Well, I want to tell y'all something. I have about 24 hours, maybe 23 hours. And then I know people can stay up late. A lot of y'all can stay up past 24 hours. Like, I am insane. I'll just tell you. If I don't have any sleep, even 2-3 hours in there, because we've done like church lock-ins and stuff like that where you can't sleep. Look, I am an idiot. I cannot make sentences. I have no mental faculties at about 23 hours, but definitely by 24. So, I mean, if she was not getting sleep or eating, well, yeah, that doesn't mean you're mentally ill. That means you are physically ill, okay? This was not the first time Mica tried to get help. She further explained. Weeks prior, Mica went to Cherokee County in an attempt to leave John Paul and get mental health treatment. While she was away, John Paul allegedly had a mental breakdown and stated that he wanted to undo himself. And that resulted in the Myrtle Beach Police Department conducting welfare checks on him. Now, I'm not going to read this little part up in here that's so hard to see because I do have it bigger later on. When officers were eventually able to separate John Paul from Mica so they could speak to Mica alone, they determined she required hospitalization for psychiatric evaluation. Again, not surprising in her conditions. This upset John Paul, who, according to the report, was unhappy about being separated from his wife. Well, what? You're going to abuse her, treat her like this, and then whatever. I know there's probably about 100,000 women in this country that are like, give me 5 minutes alone in a room with that. I'm one of those women. Give me 5 minutes alone with him. All right. John Paul was upset about this, but was told due to the circumstances of the situation, he was being kept away from Mica. Well, yeah. According to the report, John Paul Miller twice called someone identified as Lieutenant Wilson and told the responding officers, "You will be getting a call." What? So you're going to threaten the officers too? I mean, if this does not scream narcissism and complete self unawareness. Now, this picture right here is of Allie or Allison. This is his first wife. To me, it just is mind blowing how much she and Mica look alike. I mean, wow. And so she told the police, she had contacted the police multiple times about the disturbing behavior she witnessed during their divorce. Now, this is not during their marriage. This is during their divorce. Now, look, I want to tell you something. When I divorce somebody, you better leave me alone. If we've come to that, I want out. Leave me the heck alone. Let's see. But in 2016, she had contacted the police, and an HCPD officer documented a series of events involving ongoing allegations of harassment. So JP already had a history of this, okay? And he's got the nerve to stand there and say, oh, well, the police report, blah, blah, blah. Oh, my God, that interview. I can't even. But listen to all the lovely stuff he did to Allison. He was constantly following her, going to her place of employment, her new church, and her residence. According to, and we're going to go deeper, okay? Believe me, this is like the upper layer. This is the frosting. We're going to get into the cake, the sus cake, in a little while. According to the reports, John Paul was begging her to spend 40 days and 40 nights with him without interference, because it was supposedly God's will for him to move back into Allison's house. I wouldn't give that guy 40 seconds. But again, you see, this is how, and I mean, I know that's not what this is about, but people who are in church, who are wondering, questioning whether this is what you should do. Or questioning, is this even abuse? Look, this is the way that people who manipulate, whether they've got a spirit of Jezebel, whether they're a narcissist, or whatever kind of mental illness they've got, this is what they do. They want to pull that Bible out, and they want to talk to you from a Christian point of view, and they want to say things like, oh, well, God doesn't believe in divorce. God, is about forgiveness, and God this and God that. Just hold the phone. When you start acting like God, then I might listen. But until you do, you need to shut it. Okay? That's my opinion. Okay? But that is one thing, because then, you have someone who is, has a pure heart and is really trying to listen to God and do the right thing. And then that person is like, well, this is what the Bible says about that. This is a truth. And then you're like, oh, well, maybe I should forgive. Heck no. All right? If they're not acting like God, and they haven't set a period of time, and they haven't shown you over a period of time that they are even godly people, and they can follow what God is saying, then don't listen. You are not responsible. You are only responsible for your actions, and it is okay to take your little feet and walk away. All right, sorry, that was free, y'all. That was free. Hello, y'all, Kelly. Sorry, y'all chit chat. I am gonna have to catch up with the chat in a little bit. The one thing partially, did I go this too far? Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, listen to this. This is insane, y'all. Insane. Alison also told police John Paul had moved into a residence across the pond from her house, which allowed him to monitor her movements and continue harassing her. He repeatedly called and texted her, noting that he could see her coming and going and when she had company. Why was this allowed? In a situation like, how sick do you have to be to move across somebody? She obviously doesn't want to have anything to do with you. She's done. But yet, you're going to move across the pond so you can look at what she's doing. Keep harassing her. And to me, that is 100% stalking. You're in a pending divorce situation. Why was there no intervention? The only thing partially blocking John Paul's view of Alison's house was the magnolia tree owned by the Homeowners Association. Alison told police she had seen a white substance on the ground surrounding the trunk of this tree, and that she believed John Paul was trying to kill the tree with salt. According to Alison, she had seen him use this technique to kill trees on church property. Like, don't you be killing no trees now. Yeah, I'm a tree lover. Don't you be killing trees. Oh my gosh. You know, Alison, you're a doll. You got a lot more patience than I do. Bless your heart. And I'm really glad you escaped. If you ever see this, I am very proud of you for escaping this, and I cannot imagine. I would go nuts on somebody who was doing this to me. Okay. Wow. Although Alison told police she did not fear for her safety, she described the stalking and harassment as continuous. She planned to discuss trespass notices with her manager at work and her pastor at church, and was referred to her attorney to seek an order of protection. Well, see, Mica had to get a protection order too. So yet John Paul is going to say, oh, this is all a misunderstanding? I didn't do all this? Oh, BS. 3 months later, Alison again contacted police when John Paul shone a green laser into her residence from his home across the pond. She documented the intrusion with a video. Police advised her to turn the video over to her attorney. Okay, but here's the thing, law enforcement, and I don't know, like I'll be the first one to say, I don't know what the laws of South Carolina are. However, what I do know is if you are not living with somebody and you are separated and you've had to get a protection order, then this person, they should have been treated like a rank stranger. If you had an anonymous person living in that house across the pond from you who was looking at you, watching your every move, salting your trees, and, shining a laser light into your house, why, if the police could do something about stalking and harassment from a stranger, then why couldn't they do it with JP? Why did she have to endure all this? You could have thrown him in jail for, a little bit and make him, understand. You can't do this. Man. But he was not charged in connection with any of the incidents. Why not? Why not? That's my question. All right, now let's go to the next one. I don't know. I'm going to have to make this bigger. All right, this is part of the stuff that is filed. And I've got a few of these that I'm going to read parts of. Let's see, this is talking about the pond. Okay, the victim, that would be Alison, said since those prior incidents, there have been many more, such as the offender coming to the victim's new job, bringing redacted with him when he has visitation, and telling the victim, which is redacted, wanted to see her. The victim has custody of redacted and is with them most of the time. So that would be her kids. The victim said she has chose a new church separate from the offender, and since she has chosen a new church, she says the offender has gone to her church and asked the counselor for counseling. What? You're the pastor of a church and you're going to your ex-wife's church counselor and asking for counseling? Oh my God. Shh, Mina, stop. What kind of lunacy is this? In addition to going to the victim's job in church, the victim said the offender texts and calls her constantly and has been begging her to spend the 40 days, 40 nights. The offender told the victim it is God's will for him to move back into the victim's house. I don't think so, buddy. I really question if you know who God is, because I don't think you do. Because you did be very, very, very afraid of your actions, okay? I don't think you know him. That's just my opinion. But I think you should get acquainted. Definitely not what God is saying, okay? Jeez. All right, let's go down to the second paragraph. And this is talking about the magnolia tree and the substance. And then we're going to go on down to where it says he used the same technique to kill a few trees on the property. The victim has recently had a video surveillance system placed on her residence and said she would advise reporting officer of any video evidence of the offender stalking around her residence or intentionally causing damage to the tree. All right. I have not seen or heard of any video. I don't know if the police have it. I would love to know. Sorry, let me move that back. I would love to know if he, after that, did anything on video, because it doesn't really seem to me that it mattered too much to the police if he did or didn't, right? They just weren't doing anything. The victim, Alison, said she would talk to her manager at work and make sure the offender is given a trespass notice for her job. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine having to go to your boss? And that's humiliating. It is really humiliating to have to get into your personal stuff. At this time, this report will not be presented to a magistrate, talking about the one we're reading, because the victim was referred back to her attorney to inquire about an order of protection. To me, this seems like, and I know I hate to rag on the police. Y'all know I back the blue 100%. But look, sometimes people make the wrong call or whatever was going on. All right. All right, now this is the part where they're talking about when she was at Waccamaw. And we have where it says 02, 01, 02, and 03. These are officers, Officer 1 and Officer 2. And this is where it talks about him mentally abusing her. Okay, now down to the second paragraph. Due to the unknown circumstances surrounding this incident, because you remember the female friend said she hasn't eaten or slept or had contact with her family. That's why she's, plus him, living with him and his shenanigans. This is why she's in this shape. But, due to unknown circumstances surrounding this incident, officers on scene separated the parties, which finally allowed HCFR to speak to Officer 2 alone and determined she needed to go to the hospital. Wait, maybe this isn't officer. Is this offender? Okay, this is, okay. I thought this was all officers. Sorry about that. Because this 03 has to be JP. Because he was unhappy about being separated. And he made a call to Lieutenant Wilson, in which, he kind of threatened him, right? You're going to be getting a call. So here it is. Like, this isn't just somebody making it. This is what the report is about. This is the legal stuff. All right, let's go on to this one. On 28th of November, that's always weird to me. November 28th, 2022. They responded to a call for service at Waccamaw Mental Health. Maybe this is backwards. This is where sorry about that. This is backwards. Maybe the story of my life. All right. This is where she's locked in the bathroom. I think I did them backwards. All right. So anyway, I still have some more in the affidavit. Now, I added this one. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to save this for just a second. And I'm going to come back to that because we're going to talk about something completely different. Now, this is, let me make sure y'all are seeing this because I'm not sure. No, you're not. No. Okay. This is Allison's complaint. Now, this is recent, okay, y'all? This is not, this isn't from years ago. Let me look at what y'all are saying. Let me catch up with y'all. Hello, Scott Perkins. Did I say that? That is a cute tux on there. Tracy LX. Who is JP? John Paul Miller. John Paul Miller. That is Mica's husband, who she was divorcing at the time of her passing away. Wilson's wife. Oh, what? Whit James. Wilson's wife worked security at the church. Wow. Well, that would explain a lot, wouldn't it? See, that's the problem. And I mean, Myrtle Beach is, I don't really know how big it is, but I know even in my area, we're not big, but we're not tiny either. Still, people know people. All right. People are related, work with, like, the main people know everybody, okay? So I can see where this would be a problem. Yeah. And I'm not sure. I know Myrtle Beach has lots and lots of visitors, but how many people actually live there? If somebody knows, put that in the comments. Hi, Hiawatha. Okay, JP has high-ranking officials from the police department going to his church and in his back pocket. That is something I have very much assumed, really. Couldn't prove it, but that, y'all know, that's the way it goes. If he didn't, he wouldn't have been able to get by with all this crap. Man, I very much have always suspected that. Yeah, I agree, Melanie. JP is the devil. Yes, he is. My opinion, allegedly. Definitely they're BFFs, okay? Yeah, hello, Yaya Kelly. That's the reason, because of who he knows. Because, when we were talking about, what was the last one I did on Mica, we were talking about Wayne Miller, and it talks about his record being expunged. I mean, you don't get it expunged unless you... A lot of times they do that for juveniles or for things that maybe you weren't guilty of, that you were accused of, and maybe expunging a record doesn't happen very often to grown adults who have SA charges and fraud charges and all this kind of stuff. Like, look, that just don't happen. But yet, Wayne, his record was expunged. So you can't tell me that he didn't have people on the payroll. And my opinion, so when we get there, understand this is theory. Think I'm right. And y'all know where I'm going with this. Y'all who have been watching this. Okay. James Witt or Witt James, are you from Myrtle Beach? Horry County, which is where Myrtle Beach is located, has a population of about 383,000. Oh, okay. I live an hour from the beach. Wow, that is bigger than I thought. I haven't been to Myrtle Beach in many, many years, but it was not nearly that big when I was there. Buckeye, in my opinion, is Lucifer. I love that. I love that. I'm going to use it. I'm stealing. You're right, Flat Earth. That's exactly where I'm going with this. All right. So this is, let me make this bigger. I'm not going to see y'all. But this is, hold on. And I've got this in my Dropbox. So let me go there. So we're talking about, I don't want any updates. All right. So we already know the history, okay? And this is, it goes back to the original file of September 14th, 2015. And it's talking about the children, that the minor children that they have together. And then, so it's kind of just setting down who's who and when this was first filed. So we see that Allie has taken JP back, like he's been served, because all this is 2024. All right. So once we get to the actual, the meat of this, okay, now we're going to get into the cake a little bit. Plaintiff realleges the preceding paragraphs talking about the problems. Basically, there are many with the children. They have joint custody, or okay. Now I do understand this because in my divorce, my daughter's dad, we went back, and it's kind of the same thing. Since we had to do a change because of some stuff that was going on, and he agreed it wasn't a fight, but you have to be able to show substantial change, and it wasn't against me, just FYI. Okay, but since October 30th, 2015, there has been a material and substantial change in circumstance warranting modification. So, yeah. Look at this, y'all. My goodness. Plaintiff alleges that since the entry of the parties' prior final order, defendant has exhibited increasingly unstable behaviors, failed to provide a safe and stable environment for the minor children during his periods of visitation, and has both exposed and involved the minor children in incidents of domestic dispute and discord, which have been traumatic to the minor children and not in their best interest. Plaintiff further alleges that since the entry of the parties' prior final order, it appears as though defendant, now JP is the defendant's, mental health has increasingly deteriorated, and he has exhibited behavioral patterns that are erratic and irrational. Well, I mean, we could see that. At times, he has foregone his designated periods of visitation based upon his own assertions of not being mentally well enough for the children to be in his care. Now, that is scary. That is really scary. I don't know how many times that happened. I mean, it was probably a relief, honestly, to Alison to say, oh, well, JP says, he's not mentally capable of, which may have been true, but it may have been that he wanted to do something else and he had to blame it on something. That's kind of what I think. But let me tell you, I'm not disputing the fact that he is mentally ill. I do believe he is very mentally ill. But it's terrifying for a mother, and I know this from experience. It's terrifying for a mother to not be sure that kids are going to be safe when they are on visitation because of things, mental state, whatever is going on. In addition to the foregoing, let me stop this up here. Since the entry of the final order, the defendant, JP, has used the joint custodial designation of the parties as a mechanism to harass, threaten, and control the plaintiff. Now, that is not that unusual in people who get divorced. Like, look, and it can be male or female, but that is pretty common that they use that to hang over somebody's head. But it's worse than that. They're basically saying that because of this, they can't communicate, blah, blah, blah. This is a lot of legal stuff. Now, here are some other allegations. Defendant has failed to seek treatment for his deviant carnal addictions and behaviors, which he admittedly confessed to both plaintiff and former elders of his church. Now, this is on the affidavit from 2015. Remember, we knew that he said he couldn't have social media. There had to be some kind of program on their home computer that he couldn't look at while he was there. I don't know how you are in a relationship with somebody like this. I really don't. But, he did not seek treatment for these behaviors. He has continued to engage in deviant behaviors of a carnal nature and has exposed the party's minor children to an immoral and unsafe environment. Now, I want to know something, though, okay? If this is going on, all right, I understand. I'm walking a fine line here. I'm not saying that, somebody who has fallen and, committed a sin or had an affair or whatever, that's a tough one, okay? And I know what the Bible says about that, but I'm not saying that they can never find forgiveness and all that kind of stuff. Look, I understand that there are a lot of times circumstances that people don't know anything about, okay? Not giving it a pass, but I'm saying sometimes there's a lot more going on than what you think. Not saying they can't be restored, but you wouldn't continue to have these kind of behaviors, right? If you were truly trying to repent and not ever do this kind of stuff again, you would still be in therapy, right? And you wouldn't have to, he just kept on and on from 2015. It's like, okay, well, he didn't do anything, and it's repeated over and over and over. He has exposed the minor children to his adulterous misconduct with his paramour. Now, I know it's a bad thing, a paramour, but isn't that a pretty word for, instead of saying, his hoe, his paramour. I like that word. But, and he had so many. JP had so many. I wouldn't say they were paramours. I would say they were, and and even with Mica, we've known all this stuff's coming out. There was plenty of people. It's not like he just did this to Alison. He did this to Mica too. Okay. Plaintiff further contends that since the entry of the party's prior final order, the current wife of defendant Mica Miller was recently found deceased, the tragic facts and circumstances of which have become a major focus of social media, local and national news. And thank you, everybody, for making that happen. To everyone, whether you love them or hate them, I love anybody who is covering this case and getting awareness out. I don't care if we agree, if our personalities jive or not. Thank you for bringing this up and exposing everything that's going on. And we're not done. That's the thing. We're not done. All right. So, she's saying that the children should be taken out of, basically placing the children in his care would be an imminent danger. And I agree. Especially, unfortunately, when you have people and you have a situation like this, there can be some wackadoodles out there that could just decide to go, walk up in JP's house and, cause a problem or try to harm him, So, I agree, even if there weren't all of these other things, in a case like this where social media is so broad, it's probably not a good idea for the kids to be there. Besides the fact that he's I'm trying to be nice. Trying to be nice. All right. The plaintiff contends, I found this interesting, that until the time of Mica Miller's death, she provided a safety net for the children during the periods of visitation with defendant, and based upon her recent tragic death, that is no longer possible. So, that right there goes to show that Mica was a good stepmom. Okay, she was providing that safety net. Basically, she was the barrier, the one holding it together, making sure that the kids were safe when they were there for visitation. It makes me wonder if Mica had not been there, like if JP and she had divorced without incident like years ago, would Alison have had to go to court anyway to keep them away from JP, being as that he is a deviant? All right. And she says until he undergoes full and complete psychological and parental fitness evaluation and follows all recommendations resulting therefrom, and a guardian ad litem can be appointed to investigate this matter and protect the best interest of the minor children, that the defendant's periods of visitation and contact with the minor children should be suspended. And so here's my thing, though. I agree 100% with Alison. She is doing the complete right thing for her kids. And I think most of this, rest of the stuff is just about a pendant light hearing and appointing a guardian ad litem. And then she does ask for more support, financial support. Good for her. While she's at it, because I'm sure, she probably hasn't done that before. JP, I'm sure, with all of the money that's floating around there, the $5.9 million in assets, I'm pretty sure, I don't know what he pays her, but it probably ain't enough. That's my opinion. I don't know what he pays her. Okay, again, she wants to restrain him from exposing the minor children to dangerous, immoral, or unhealthy environments, the abuse of alcohol, illegal drugs, smoking, abuse of prescription medications. So he's just, he's having a big old time, isn't he? He's just, he's got all kind of stuff going on there. All right, so, I'm behind in chat, y'all. Hello, Greg Matz. Is it Matz or Motts? And John Paul Miller also had a child with another woman who, he wasn't married to her, from what I know. And y'all have heard this. I think I covered this a little bit, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. That guy, his oldest son, was arrested for hitting his wife in the head with a bottle, I think. Again, it's the history. It's the cycle of violence that we're talking about. Yeah, Melanie, I'm not going to highlight that, but asking him if you wonder if he took his son out. Yeah, it makes me wonder. I think his dad did, honestly. I think this is just my opinion, but I think that JP learned everything that he's doing from his dad, Wayne. And maybe Wayne learned it from his dad. Who knows? Hello, Alan Coker. Yes, I do too. I hope everything comes out and justice comes for Mica and her family. I do too. Yeah, and y'all are talking about the video of JP rolling around in the grass and everything. That my understanding is was his breakdown after when Allison left him. Can you imagine? God, I just can't. I just can't. And if y'all have ever dealt with a true narcissist, oh, sorry. If y'all have ever dealt with a true narcissist, and I have more than one, that kind of behavior really isn't that odd. I mean, we look at it and we're like, that is pure out insanity. But it is also a manipulation. That's what I see. When I look at that video, I'm not saying that he's not upset about something. Maybe that he's not hurt. I don't think he's really hurt like we think he's hurt. And the reason being is I don't think he knows how to love properly. Well, I know he doesn't. He doesn't know how to love properly, so therefore someone leaving him is just a blow to his ego. All right? It's not really loving and missing that person and being sorry for screwing up a relationship. It is just you being a narcissist. And now you are in a place that, well, maybe you can get enough attention from somebody else and make everything seem like you are just a broken-hearted, wronged individual. That's what narcissists do. And y'all know, any of y'all people who watch this video or in the chat, if you've ever dealt with a true malignant narcissist, and they're not all that bad, if you ever dealt with one, you know. If you know, you know. Sorry, I'm slurping. You're right, Samantha. It's like Delphi, you just can't make this stuff up. Man, I'm telling you, ain't that the truth? I hesitate on this. I don't, let me change this for just a second. I don't want to say, because I don't know, and I don't want to put out wrong information. I don't want to say the fisherman's involved. But I will say this. I have some major questions, and maybe they could be answered. I don't like the fact, I'll just say what I don't like, okay? I don't like the fact, and I'm sorry, Mr. Fisherman. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. I don't mean to bring up stuff and accuse, all right? But my questions, and this is just from a logical point of view, why, if I came across, okay, if I just came across somebody's belongings, well, first of all, I don't know if I'd pick them up, all right? I might just make a call. But if I felt like I was being a good Samaritan and I saw somebody's purse and their phone and stuff laying out, if I was going to pick it up, it would be to take it immediately to the office at the lodge, or at the state park, okay? To Lost and Found, to a park ranger, to somebody. But if, and that would be with not hearing a sound, not knowing anything, just, oh, somebody might have dropped this. Did it fall out? Did somebody get mad and fling somebody's purse out? I'm going to take it to the office, okay? But if I heard someone crying and I heard something going on and then I saw the stuff, I wouldn't touch it. That's just me. Who is this? Yeah. Yeah, that's true, Jay. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm an empath too. Yeah, I get you. I get you. But yeah, that's what I wouldn't, if I heard somebody crying and I had, because, he said he felt like, uh-oh, I hope that gunshot is not what I think it is. There is no way on God's earth I would pick up any property or anything of anybody if I heard crying and a gunshot and then I saw somebody's personal effects. No. I would, if you couldn't get service, and they said you couldn't get service in the park, if you could get it, you could hear the 911 call from the boat. I would at least keep my eyes on, make sure nobody else was coming and go out into the lake or the slough or whatever, that edge. And I would call and say, hey, I just heard this and somebody's effects are here. I would have at least called the park. Even if I wasn't going to call 911, I would have called the park and asked for some kind of ranger on duty. Hey, I found this and there's some stuff's going on here and it looks kind of sketch to me. That's what I would do. So I know that everybody doesn't think like I do. And sometimes we do things and you look back and you're like, bad decision. Hey, what was you saying? Alan Coker says that CJ went there and the signal is bad all over. I didn't see that, but that's what people say. I didn't see him there. I'll have to go back and look at it. But yeah, that's what, hello there. Well, I it's hard to, I can't say this. Precocent, hi there. Sorry, I'm trying to get some of y'all. Hey, Professor Bug. Good to see ya. Y'all, round of applause for all of these mods that didn't know they were going to be mods till I threw a wrench at them. I appreciate y'all so much. Hopefully it's an easy job. It usually is. Yeah. So, could he have made a bad decision? Yes, not everybody thinks like I do. But then another question that I would have for the fishermen is, if you heard a gunshot, because again, this is me and this is my brain, always on that hamster wheel running some direction. I would have to wonder, okay, I heard a gunshot, I heard crying, there's a boat over here, and he talked to people. Wouldn't you get their name? Because I would be thinking from the get-go, something could have happened. Who are these people? I would have said, hey, my name is Silky. I don't know what we just heard, but, I would get their names. That's just me. All right. Okay, but let's see. Let me go back to this. All right. I know I've got something else here, but let me go back to this one. All right. I'm going to make this big because you know where I'm going with this. Remember last week I was all on looking at Tom Wilson. I'm not done. I'm working a lot of hours. And I'm looking at all of these places that don't have, all these businesses that he's the registered agent for, that don't seem to exist. They have no brick and mortar, not even any internet presence, because if you're not selling goods, you don't necessarily have to have a building, but you do have to have a presence of some kind. Even if you're doing, something from mail order, you're going to have a media presence. You're going to have a website. You're going to have, look, y'all know, as I went through those videos, if you didn't see them, I did 2 last week, and they're about 15 minutes each, of me just going through here looking at these businesses that don't seem to have a real place. I'm like, okay, who is the agent for all these businesses that are words? So if you are having, and very interesting, go back and look at them. Very interesting names to some of these businesses, okay? I'm like, I'm not even sure. Why would you name a business that? Yes, Melanie, very, very good. Yeah, this timeline that's another whole wackadoodle thing. The timeline. The fisherman had her cell phone at 1:27. Yeah. And so how did they ping her phone when it was in his pocket? See, this is just jacked up. I'm going to tell you right now. There's a lot of stuff that is just jacked up in this case, and I don't think that we have the truth. That whole thing, even where she was, and I know a lot of people have speculated that she was brought there by boat, and I am not. I'm not opposing that theory. I think it is very, very likely. I mean, it's definitely possible. Absolutely, Ginger Jones. Things do not add up at all. At all. All right, so y'all know where I was going with this. As I was looking into these businesses, because I've told y'all from probably the second or third video I did on Mica Miller in the very beginning, when we didn't know anything. We just knew she had passed away, and we looked at it. Most of us are like, there's something wrong here. And then we started digging. But as we looked at that, and I was looking at the church's website, y'all know, the first thing I looked at is the missions. Because what did I tell you? I've had a couple of bad experiences with missions and the money not going to the people they said it's supposed to go to. Or not be, or like just people collecting it and running off, like building it up and running off. Like, it's been crazy. It's crazy. So that's the first thing I said when we were talking about church financial stuff. I said they need to look into the Dare to Care missions and really check out the info, where that money's going, how much money, all that kind of stuff. I said start there. Now, that being said, you have that, and I don't think that's a huge, I think it was going to be. All right, I think JP learned all these tricks from Wayne because it was the same thing. I mean, and somewhere in my pictures, my notes, whatever, I have there are like a ton of articles where these people in Pakistan are saying they're begging like doing videos and stuff, even on YouTube in different languages, saying, please do not send Wayne Miller back. He's raising money and he's not doing anything for us in it. Like, this is recent. Okay? So I think that this was going to be another source because, again, you've got a church of, I heard that his congregation is like 700, or was like 700 people. I mean, you know, how easy is it? Look, I'm gonna be just blunt here. How easy is it to get some fake pictures of some, you know, poor little people in another country in bad circumstances, bad living conditions, whatever. And you do like a montage. You get on Canva, you make a little presentation, you show the little videos, you show the pictures of the sad eyes, you have some sweet, sad music, and like, you know, you put some stuff on there like for only so much a day, and then you can have this happen, and then you show happy children dressed well in Bible school and all. Look, it's marketing. Marketing. How easy? 700 people. And then, you know, I'm sure the thing is he was going to have Mica up there heading that because that was her heart. And I believe that Mica really did have a heart for Africa. Okay? And I believe that when she went, it's like I've been on the mission field, and I think every person I have ever talked to who has ever been on a mission trip to somewhere that is very much a third world country or in dire poverty, you come back different, completely different. The way that you see the world is forever changed. And I believe that Mica had that same experience. Now, I don't know if she'd been on another mission, but before, but I do believe that she was very passionate about it. And So you take somebody who, like Mica, is very, people loved her. She was very genuine. Seems to be, from everything I've seen, she was very genuine. You have her up there talking about missions. Oh man, that's a gold mine, right? You have the video. You have the sweet, sad music. You have the words. And then you have someone representing saying, I was there. And she's very genuine. She's not lying. This is, what I'm seeing, and this is what I want to help do. Man, that was like the perfect setup for JP. He has a real life person who they know and trust. And look, then he can just keep getting money. We're going to take up a special offering for whatever, for books, for clothes, for whatever, whatever they've got. The roof fell in, whatever. We're going to have to raise a large amount of money to fund this. And you don't know. You're sitting in the congregation. You don't know. You don't know if that happened or not. They could get pictures. They could edit pictures. Tom Winslow's really good with that AI stuff. Look, you can get on Canva now and make an AI picture of anything in the world you want to. This is what happened. I think this was a big plan. It was a good source of money. Now, did they really need that much money for living expenses? I don't think so. I think JP definitely had plenty of money to do whatever he wanted to do, including a plane. 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 Why do you need a plane, JP? Well, it's because you said you want to go to Georgia. I want to pull up these places. North Carolina, I think. Georgia was one. Tennessee. And he names about 4 cities. He's like, I want to go preach to these places and I need a plane. Well, horse feathers, you don't need your own private plane. Okay? You don't need a $400,000 plane to take a regular plane ride, even in first class. You know how many trips you're going to have to make to equal out that plane, plus the maintenance and everything else? I do not think that JP wanted that plane for he probably did want it for purposes of looking important, okay? For looking, like somebody. Like he's one of these big evangelists, whatever. I think that did play into it, but I don't think that even that was the reason that you needed a plane. What are planes used for besides travel? You can transport things, can't you? Wonder how big the plane was, or what you could put in a plane, what you could hide in a plane. Let's see. You wanted to go to Georgia. I wonder if that was Atlanta. Was it Atlanta that you wanted to go to? What about Tennessee? Was it Nashville that you wanted to go to? I just ask, JP, because these are places very high in trafficking. And we're talking about moving humans. It's a theory. It's just where my mind is going. I'm not accusing, I'm just asking questions. Were you planning to go to Atlanta or Nashville or, some of these places? Is that why it would have been easier with a smaller plane? You can go into a small airport, get some money. Sure, all kind of things go through small airports. You don't have to have, all the feds looking at you in a big plane, not trying to drag anything around. That's my thought. Okay, now let me make this bigger. Because again, I'm looking at these businesses that don't seem to really exist. And they keep changing agents and all this kind of stuff. But yet, I don't see any movement. I don't see any presence. You got a plane. We know about the Africa thing. We already, and we know about what your dad did in Pakistan. So then, I'm going, now, if you'll get on my community page, you can get to this TikTok. I just screenshotted this. Okay, because it was screenshotted to a Facebook group. And this is from different people. It's like cut out, but I'm going to say, let me read this to you. Mica was a sweet young lady. She didn't deserve such horrible treatment. My mother was their marriage counselor. What? She never shared any details, but mentioned they were going through some serious stuff, I'll say. Mica called me after my mom passed in August 2022. We didn't get to speak long before JP grabbed the phone to take over the conversation. That is a classic control freak move. Seen it, experienced it, and seen it done a bunch of times. He invited us to do my mom's ceremony of life at Solid Rock, but I declined. Thank goodness. And then I don't know who said this right here in this white box. When this all comes out, let's remember 3 weeks ago I said it's all about trafficking. That's what I have been saying. I don't know. I didn't know who this was. I would love to talk to them. Okay. But now this last part is what I wanted you to see. And this is, again, a personal kind of testimonial. Hold on. My computer's going nuts. Thing. I'm having trouble getting it where I can see it. All right. I'm sending a few clips and pics so you know that I'm legit. And this is a message to someone. You are free to share anything of interest, but please keep me anonymous. I was groomed. What? I was groomed, brainwashed, and trafficked by people in that school/church, and eventually married my handler, 17 years older than me, who was also connected to this evil web. I got free from all of this in 2019, but my ex-husband/handler is still very much involved with that world. This is another reason I asked to remain anonymous, for my safety and that of my children. Please don't give up on the Mica case. There's so much more to this story. If you have any questions or would like to reach out, I'm open to chat. I wish I knew who this was. I would love to talk to you, like not even online necessarily, unless you wanted to. I would just like to, talk to you. Maybe so I could not have to involve anybody and just find out how to connect the dots. You know, understand what I'm saying? So if anybody knows who this is, please, I'd love to. I'm trying so hard. It's not easy because all this stuff is clandestine, okay? It's hidden. You really have to know people. You have to be closer in there. Okay. Oh, Moonlight Rays, a new member. Hold on just a second. Thank you. Hold on. I've got something for that. If I can find it. Thank you so much, Moonlight Rays, for becoming a member. I appreciate that so much. Hey, I'm going to have some exciting stuff coming up for members, just so you know. I'm working on it, y'all. But I'm going to try to start this week. Yeah, Moonlight, I'd like to know how predators become so prevalent in the religious community. I'll tell you why. Because it's the easiest place to hide. Okay, think about it. Now, I know this as a nurse. A lot of people, and they tell us this when we're in nursing school, a lot of people are drawn to the medical field, especially people with addictions to prescription medicines or that kind of stuff, because they know it's easy access. And it's true. It is. If I wanted to, I could. I always have been able to. You learn. Very, unfortunately, very easy. The same thing about law enforcement, okay? Got some great people out there. But a lot of criminals are drawn to that profession because they know that it's going to be easier for them to still commit crimes if they're a cop, right? Doesn't mean they're all bad. There are some bad. There's some horrendous addicted nurses and doctors and all that kind of stuff. Okay, clergy, same way. Same way. And it's probably even worse because as a clergyman, something in the church people are much less likely to even think that there's something inappropriate going on. You see the pastor hugging up on little girls, not inappropriately, just like, giving them hugs all the time. You don't think anything of it. It's like, oh, he's such a good man. He really cares about these children. You don't even think, or you didn't. Now we do. I think every day that goes by, we start thinking more and more, what's wrong with you? Are you a pedo? A chomo? So, but it's just because of what has come out and people talking and things like that. But like historically, that would be the last person you wouldn't accuse the pastor or the youth leader or something like that. That wouldn't necessarily go through your head. You're not thinking that way. And so it's much easier for people to be predators in the religious world. All right? Because again, we're taught not to gossip. We're taught not to falsely accuse. What we should be being taught is ask questions. Because if you can ask me anything you want to. I got nothing to hide, not one thing. Not one thing. And if I ever have said or done anything that people are like, what's up with that? Well, then ask me, please. Please do ask me. And I'll tell you. I mean, accountability, because maybe I'm just dumb. I've been known to be really stupid sometimes. I know, it's hard to believe, right? But, it's like, if I'm doing something and I don't realize really how stupid it is, somebody please tell me. Tell me that don't look right, that don't sound right, because I need to know. Above the clouds, yet hidden in plain sight, often charms, covers up to others their true dark self. Yes, 100%. Take advantage of the vulnerable and no one will believe the victim. I'm going to tell y'all, I know we're going long. I don't really mean to because I do want to show you this one for y'all who are interested. I'm going to show you this one video. It's really kind of terrifying. But I'm just going to make this short. One time, I was I was married and I was very young, okay? I was very young and very naive. Well, that all went out the window, okay? But I was married and we were having some major problems. The major problem was, he liked to sleep with other people. That really was a problem. So anyway, I was trying to save our marriage. God, was I stupid. It's funny now. But I went to a very, very large church, okay? They had a pastor on staff 24/7. A counselor, somebody that could pray with you. And it was, if I said the name of it, a lot of y'all would remember. It was a very, very large organization. So I lived in the area. Actually, it was in North Carolina. And I went to this place, and I didn't have an appointment or whatever. I just went to where I knew there was a pastor, and I was crying. I was upset. I didn't know what to do. Now, I was never inappropriately dressed, so let me make that very, very clear. But I was wearing a dress. I was wearing, like, just a regular dress. Nothing shady or overly, no money shots, okay? And I'm sitting there, and there's this guy. He was fairly old, okay? He was probably retired, okay? I'm going to say at least he was probably over 65, because I'm sure he was a retired pastor. Anyway, I get up there, and I'm pouring my heart out, about this situation, and he's like, okay, he's like very sympathetic, blah, blah, blah. He says, can I pray with you? Well, of course you can pray with me. So he says, can I have your hands? Can you give me your hands? So I put my hands out. He gently takes my hands and he starts praying for me. And as he's praying for me, I notice my body keeps starts going this way. Like, he's got my hands and I'm going this way. And I'm like, I'm just being stretched. And I'm thinking, what is he doing? My eyes are closed. All of a sudden, like, you know how you do? You don't want to, don't want to stare at anybody. You're like looking this way, trying to figure out what is going on. Like, is he having a heart attack and he's falling backwards? Why? Why am I being stretched this way? When I opened my eyes a little bit like this, I could see my own cleavage at that point because my arms are this way and I'm leaned way over. So now the dress that was up here is now down here because I'm pulled over this much. And I look up at him and he is staring down my shirt, down the top of my dress as he's praying and getting a full view. Let me tell y'all something. It makes me angry now, but you know what I felt like in that moment? I felt like I had been assaulted. I felt like I had been essayed. I felt guilty. I felt dirty. I felt traumatized. And all I could do was just say, I'm sorry, I have to go. I was terrified. This place where this pastor was also connected to my job. I was terrified to go tell somebody. I was so young and I was so heartbroken because that had never happened to me before. And I mean, here was this man of God who was clearly doing something very wrong. I didn't tell anybody what happened. I was, like a victim will think, did I do anything to make him think that was okay? Was, I'm checking my dress. Like, was it revealing? Did I, like it would have been my fault. But that's what you think. And I understand where these victims come from. I understand the mentality. Now, man, I wish I had that moment now, at my age and at my experience and with my knowledge now. Wish I had that experience again. It'd be the last time. And everybody would have known it. Everybody. Job or not. Whatever. But you see, that's why these people like this type of environment. Because they know they can prey on people who don't expect it. And if you haven't ever been the victim of an essay of any kind, you have no idea, like the shock. It's bad enough if it's, somebody else. But when it's a preacher or your pastor, it is horrifying and devastating. So I get it. And I didn't tell you that story to make you feel bad. Like, I'm fine. I'm fine now. But, yeah, Melanie, good. I'm glad that you're vocal now. I'm very vocal now. First of all, I'd probably been physical first before I was vocal. Just telling you. Yeah, sometimes, yeah, that is true, Greg. Sometimes they blame the woman and not the man. I mean, sometimes, I'm not saying that it's always the woman's fault, the man's fault. Sometimes it's not. Yeah, I am healed now. I certainly am. All right, so let me show you this, all right? Because I came across this, and this woman is on TikTok, and she has a word. Now, I know not everybody in here believes in this kind of thing, but she has a message from God for JP. And I do understand this because I have been in that same situation where I had to give a word like this. All right? Y'all didn't know I did that. Before I do that, let me look at this. Happened to me, and my 17-year-old self thought if I wasn't a piece of crap, nice people wouldn't treat me like that. Yeah, one of the short Any of reasons why religion. Hey, I get it. I get it. And you know what's really bad uh about that is that not only do you think as a victim, do you think that about yourself? Yeah, somehow I'm responsible. If I wasn't a piece of crap, this wouldn't happen. But if you tell people in the church, a lot of times they blame you too. Well, what were you doing going there alone? What were you wearing? Well, you should have known better. Or they give you that judgment. I'm going to just tell you something. That ain't God. None of that's God. And I'm sorry that, that happened. I left religion. I left religion a long time ago. I did not leave Jesus, but I learned who he was. It was a journey. Wow, Moonlight. Yeah. Look, I'm telling you. My heart goes out to people who are victimized like this. And especially, look, I don't blame Mica for not one thing. Not one thing. People can say, well, this or that. Look, there's two sides to every story. I'm going to tell you something. When you're that young and you're in that situation and you've been groomed, I don't blame you. Okay? I think that Mica was old enough and maturing enough and getting strong enough in God to the end, toward she filed for divorce. I think that was her finally being able to see things more clearly. I think it would have still taken a lot of time to heal from all that, but he couldn't let that. JP couldn't let that get out. And I think that she did know a lot. Because imagine this. Imagine if it's what we do think it is. What I think it is. Maybe y'all don't. She had to maybe have an inkling or maybe question some things. Well, she was very dangerous. If she wasn't under his control, she could speak, couldn't she? She probably knew a lot. I'm glad to see that, Melanie. I do too. And for anybody who thinks that any of this is okay, that ain't God. That ain't God at all. All right, let me show you this because I think this is very interesting. It is a little lengthy. Wait. When I say lengthy, I mean like 15 minutes. And I don't know. I'll probably start it a little bit into, okay. Well, I say that if I can get anything to come up. Come on now. All right. All right, let's see if I can get this going.
Hey guys. My name is Marisa, and this is one of the most profound, strongest words that the Lord has ever given me for a particular person. And I know it's going to upset a lot of people. I'm compelled to do it anyway. So I woke up. Let me give you a little backstory on how this word came to be so that you understand that, like, this is from God. Okay, so I woke up this morning and let me go back about 2 weeks when God decided to wreck my life. I had a profound dream a couple weeks ago in which the Lord showed me he was bringing back the fear of the Lord. And in this dream, he told me to speak my words. He said, speak my words, speak my words. And I had this knot in the...
Give your GoDaddy managed WordPress hosting a boost with AI. Just answer a few questions.
Hate these commercials.
In my stomach, like right here, that I had never felt before in the natural. And I woke up and I felt that knot for probably 3 days after. And ever since then, the Lord has given me this righteous boldness that I'm not even sure where it's coming from, but it's definitely not in and of myself. And so, this morning I woke up with that same feeling in my stomach. And all day I was distressed. And I could not find peace. So I said, okay. I tried to go to the gym, couldn't go to the gym. I said, okay, so let me pray into this. Let me figure out what's going on. And so I just started praying, and I fasted today. And as soon as I started praying into this, the Lord just kept saying indictments, indictments, indictments. Like that was the only word that kept coming to me. And it was very bizarre, very mind-boggling, because I'm like, and who's being indicted, Lord? And I felt the seriousness of the Lord too. And so I took a shower. He kept saying it, and then I said, okay, Lord, but you have to confirm, you have to explain, you have to elaborate. And after I got out of the bath, I checked my messages and I opened Facebook. And when I opened Facebook, I saw a post that was so tragic. And instantly it caught my eye, and the Lord said indictments. And before I even read the post, the Lord said indictment. So I knew that post. So I read the post, and it was tragic. It was so tragic. This young lady, Mica Miller, was shot. I don't know if it was suicide or murder, but yeah. And she was a pastor's wife, a local pastor's wife. And I know they were going through a divorce, I guess, I think, according to the post that I read. And so the Lord said indictments. And I said, indictments against who? And he said, her husband. And so this guy is a pastor at a church in town, and the Lord has indictments for him. So I don't know if those indictments are going to come in the natural as well, but I know the indictments that the Lord told me for him, and they were pretty serious charges. So I'm going to go through them. And I hope somebody delivers this message to him, because apparently he deleted his Facebook. I don't even know how to get in contact with this man, but I'm sure all the people on Facebook are so helpful and handy. They can definitely translate this message, because it's very important. And first, and let me say, my sympathies for this young lady. I've never spoke to her in person. I think I've seen her before. Actually, I think I saw her a couple weeks ago, actually, out somewhere. But I don't know her personally. I've never actually talked to her. I know she was really young, really pretty. And you know, that's all I know. And so, this man, JP Miller, the Lord says that you are a false shepherd, and that you're a wolf in sheep's clothing, and you treat his flock as if it's your own personal prey. You prey on young women, you prey on the vulnerable, you prey on their pockets, and you are a predator. That's charge number 1. You operate, charge number 2, you operate in a narcissistic Jezebel spirit. You have to have control. You have to be the boss. You think you're God. And I'm about to show you that you are not God, and I am God, and you are an abomination in my sight. Charge number 3, you're a murderer. So whether you murdered her, you pulled the trigger, or you drove her to suicide, you are a murderer. You murdered that girl's soul, one way or another. And justice will be had. Whatever a man sows, he shall reap. God is not mocked. So whether you pulled the trigger yourself, you hired someone to do it, or you made the girl pull the trigger on herself, which is highly unlikely, it will be found out and you will be held accountable. And the fourth indictment, you are an adulterer. You divorced your wife so you could marry a young girl. Then you cheated on the young girl with multiple other people, the Lord says, and you are a predator. And so you're using his flock again as your own personal playground. And so on the charge of adultery. And then the last charge was crazy, but the Lord said it. So you're also a pedophile along with your family. So whoever in your family is also a pedophile. And that was the fifth charge. You like young girls. The younger, the better. So those were the 5 indictments from the Lord. Now, whether any of this comes up in the natural or not, I don't know. But I know spiritually speaking, he has cut you off from being a servant. Like, that's it. We're done.
When we first arrived at St. Jude, it was just Claire and I. She was still recovering from her brain surgery, and
Sorry, y'all.
side effects of that surgery meant that she had to relearn how
trying
to
to
walk
skip
and
this.
how to speak.
You can join the battle to save lives by supporting St. Jude.
Sorry, it wouldn't let me skip it.
Your time is up. It's over. I hope you had fun. And because you are an apostate, and that is someone who knows the word of God, you boast in your knowledge of God. You boast in your knowledge of the Bible. Because you are an apostate and you do not regard God as God, then there will be no repentance that will be found for you, even if you seek it with your whole heart. So, for it is impossible for one who has tasted the heavenly gift to be returned back to repentance, since it would be like he crucified again the living God. For anyone having tasted the good word of God and the powers of the age to come, if they fall away, to renew them again to repentance, since they crucify again for themselves the Son of God and put him to an open shame. Because of this, Hebrews 6, it will be impossible for you to get repentance from these things. And you will be exposed for all of those things that I just listed. And so that was the word that was burning. It was like a knot in my gut all day. And it's so interesting because I also have to give a word to his congregation. Those of you who support this man, those of you who are complicit with his sins, if you do not get away from him, if you do not back away from him, if you do not leave that church and get away from this man, then when God opens the pit to swallow him whole, him and all of his belongings, you too will go down into that pit with him. Because this man is going down. And all those complicit with this man's sin and covering his sin, who have sat in that church for years and years and years and watched him have affair after affair after affair, and you have been complicit with his sin, you too will go down with him. There is a young woman who is dead now. Her life is not coming back. And if that doesn't make you open your eyes to who this man really is, and you want to stay in support of this man, then you will go down into the same pit that he is going down into. And believe me when I say the man is going into the pit. So, buckle up, Buttercup, because sounds like it's about to be a bumpy ride for you, JP. Good luck. And I just want to say a word to the church. It's because of men like this, that people hate Christianity. This man's not even he's not only responsible for the souls that he has turned away over the years in his own congregation because of his actions, the people that he's turned away from the church and turned away from the Bible and turned away from God because of the way he is. And I don't know this man. Let me just be very clear. I don't know him. But God knows him. And because of this scandal that's about to break loose in your life, it's going to turn even more people away from God. They're going to be even more disgusted at the church. And because of those souls too, those souls are on your head. Those people's blood are on your head as well. Not only the blood of the people like your wife, your family, all the people you've hurt over the years, but now all the souls of all the people who will be turned away from God because of your misconduct, because you mishandle the holy things of God, because you prostitute your anointing, because you want control and you want to be God in his stead. And because you put a bad taste of Jesus in other people's mouths, their blood will be on your head too. So your day of reckoning, JP, is here. That's my word for J.P. Miller from the Lord today. And it is what it is. So you guys can be angry all you want to, but all I know is the Lord is cleaning his house. He is cleaning his house. He told me to speak his words. I'm speaking his words. And if you don't like it, take it up with the Lord, for one. And two, we have to quit being complicit in these false leaders' sins. We have to quit celebrating people because they can preach good.
Yes. I'm gonna leave. It's called, her channel is called Foolish Things. And please go. When I get done, I'm gonna put the link in the description of this video because I know a lot of people see it on the replay. But yeah, absolutely, go check her out. There's a few minutes left. But I mean, it's basically talking about this. But I came across this, and I'm going to tell you something. My understanding is she put this out before we knew all this stuff. Okay, before all this info about Wayne Miller came out, and before all this other stuff. So, wow. I agree, and I think I hope he sees that. I really do. I mean, at this point, I don't think it's going to do much good. I mean, there is a point where God is not going to let you serve as his mouthpiece anymore. It probably is before now, but honestly, I don't think he's been doing things right, maybe ever. Okay, that's just my opinion. Hello, Nancy Drew. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There were so many good comments going on, and I'm going to, as we wind this down, I'm going to put a lot of them up here as it's going off and everything. I'm very excited that this is coming out. And again, I'm still on that, how did somebody say it the other day? Moving humans. I'm still on that train. I would be shocked, absolutely shocked, if there is no moving of humans. Again, I think, my personal opinion, that's why they wanted that plane. And all these bogus businesses and all that kind of stuff. You can see just from that little bit. And I can't wait. I want everything exposed. So y'all praying people, keep praying. It's not over. We want justice for Mica. That is the bottom line. We want justice for Mica. All right, I'm going to do some other things tomorrow, Delphi, and I'm working still on Riley Strain. Of course, Mica is still at the very top of my list of things that I'm researching and investigating. All right, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, wonderful Sunday. Stay safe. Whatever you do, just stay silky. Love you all. Bye-bye.